Hello, everyone. Today I have a special guest, Dagmar Fleming, who will be joining us in just a moment. She is amazing with mindset and especially money, charging what we're worth. Well, not even, because I went to her workshop last week where she was like, you got to stop saying that because you are not for sale. Great point. So amazing workshop. She had a free one, and even just the workbook for it was amazing. Um, I'm doing so much right now for my own money mindset and getting rid of the ceiling and the limitations that I feel. And it's a process. It is not easy. It's ongoing. It's not like say my affirmations and we're done. I had my hypnotherapy session that I'm looking forward to telling you about. I listen to the recording of that every night, which is really, I can feel things letting loose in my brain. We had an amazing talk with Alejandra Rojas, and I'm looking forward to joining her membership. And Dagmar is powerful. So she's intense. You're going to see. She really knows her stuff and just pinpoints right to the exact. She says she just intuitively understands what the block and limitation is, which is amazing. I don't have those kind of gifts. This is why I do marketing. That sounds weird. This is why I feel like my role is in supporting and taking care of the tech and the kind of grounded practical aspects for people with amazing intuitive gifts like this. So I met Dagmar at a couple of different networking events, and I went to her free workshop, and now she has an even more intensive thing that is coming up very soon. I want to say October 8th, but we'll ask her when she gets here. We're going to have the link in the show notes where you can register for that, and I know it's gonna be spectacular because I have experienced her her energy, and she gets to the root of things. That is for sure. So I'm very grateful to have met her, and um, I think, I don't know, our planet's still in retrograde. Somebody tell me if that is the case, because the last few weeks have been very challenging with the scheduling of the podcast. So I'm putting systems in place to streamline it a little more, which is like exactly my favorite thing to do. So, I don't mind spending some time putting systems in place, even though I should be spending that time following up with people and signing new clients. But it'll be worth it. It'll pay off to have this whole system a little bit more um, not dependent on me to manually find times and chase people down and all of that stuff. So it's gonna be a lot easier to get people at the right time in the right place. But boy, we have had some mix-ups these last few weeks, which has been challenging, but I'm rolling with it. I'm going with the flow. And time zones, boy, being an entrepreneur that is not bound by location at all, the funnel building and the website, the services that I do can be done for anyone anywhere. So I end up meeting a lot of people in a lot of different time zones. And so we've had a time zone mix up today, and that is why Dagmar is running a little bit late. So we're waiting on her, and it's going to be worth it. I know it's going to be worth it because I have spoken to her, and she is good at what she does. So I'm very excited to hear more about this topic, that reach our potential with what's already inside of us, that we already have what we need. We don't have to be striving and searching so much. And that really calls back to what I was always taught growing up in terms of spirituality, too, that like we have it within us. We have what we need already. And we have this tendency, it's human nature, to be striving and searching and finding and trying to sort of take these actions, when what the action really is to clear away what's on the surface, what's blocking us from seeing what's there. And I think it is a similar thing with struggles with money mindset. Money mindset is just, I would not have thought it was as powerful as it is. Um, it sounds wishy-washy maybe, but there's so much that our brains limit us with based on our own long held assumptions and subconscious ideas that we don't even realize are there. And a lot of us are telling ourselves stories about what we're capable of accomplishing in terms of income and growth and business. And that's nobody's fault. I think we get it from childhood, and you just never know what children are picking up on and how they're interpreting things. I see that in my own children, and I just don't know in when they become adults what stories they're going to have, because even though I try not to influence them in a bad way, a lot of times there's just some offhand side thing that they overhear, and that becomes like a guiding truth in their life. Like, that has been true for me. I'm sure it will be true for my children. And it's tricky to find the balance, because I don't want to give them bad money stories, but on the other hand, I also really need them to understand that one in particular, cannot buy video games every single day, and that money is coming from somewhere, that mommy and daddy are working hard to bring in that money, and we have to budget it. We cannot just spend it on fun things. So how do you give that lesson while at the same time not making them grow up feeling tight and scarce and afraid? So it's a work in progress, but I'm sure they will have to do their own money mindset work when they grow up. All right.
Can you hear me?
To welcome Dagmar. Hello. You are live.
I'm not hearing you.
Uh-oh. You have anything plugged in?
I wonder why.
We got craziness going on again. Oh boy. Why would it not? Let's see. My microphone is built in. Anybody out there? Can you guys hear me?
There it is. Okay.
Yeah?
Yes. Let's see. One more second. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello?
Hello? Better? No? Technology.
All right. We're in. We're in. Yes. I'm so excited, and my sincere apologies for all the difficulties.
Well, welcome. We are live, so say hello to everyone.
Hi, everyone.
I have been talking you up and saying how wonderful your workshop last week was. That was last week, right? What day is it today? I have no idea.
The
Monday. It's Monday.
Yes.
So yes, we had an amazing time learning about raising the roof, letting go of our limitations when it comes to what we think we can earn. And you have such a gift for really getting right to the heart of things. So I am very excited to hear what you have to say about unlocking the potential that we already have inside of us.
Well, first of all, hello to everyone. And again, sincere apologies. When you live vibrationally, sometimes you are jumping through dimensional consciousness, and you just hope that you will land on planet Earth. So here I am with everyone. But yes, thank you for bringing this up, because, a lot of people, when they strive for success or for something better in their lives, they think that they have to work for it, and that it's something outside of their reach today, that they simply hope that through circumstances, through learning, they'll be able to acquire. But the very important aspect of, for example, my business called Unlock Your Success, is that you do not have to seek it externally and then try to embody it. All you have to do is take the magic key and unlock what's already within you. because each human being has been designed to fulfill their life uh, based on every possible creation that they have. And what I mean by that, not to get too geeky with everyone, but per quantum physics, our entire external reality is simply reflection of what's happening internally. So absolutely everything in your outside world is created by you, because these, subatomic particles, the photonic light waves, do not materialize into something tangible like physical matter until what is called in quantum physics as act of observation, meaning your expectation of what you will see creates that reality. If you see a dog and you expect that it's going to bite you, most likely the dog will feel you how tense you are around it and may respond with biting you. But if you always feel safe around dogs, they will just be very neutral around you. So our external reality conforms to what we expect. And based on that principle, if you imagine a multi-million dollar house, then you already have capacity to deliver on that dream. You have capacity within you to create the business or career that will lead you to realization of that dream. And I can dig into it a little bit more, but let me pause for a moment because I know I just went super geeky with quantum physics and then trying to bring these concepts home for everyone.
So what I'm hearing is that if you can imagine it, you can make it happen.
Beautifully said. 100% guarantee. So, the way I say that is that every human being is divinely engineered for success. Think of it this way: you came into this life, for those of you who believe in multiple lives, multiple incarnations, you came into this life fully equipped with everything you will ever need to realize your creation, to realize your dream. The problem is most of people do not utilize their potential. They think it's something outside that they have to strive for. And for as long as you think that your dream or your desire is outside of you, then there is a distance between you and what you're trying to create, right? So
Mm.
people say, I want $1 million house. Well, want means lack. So you're not bringing the distance between something outside of you and you. You have to embody this dream to unlock the capacity within you to perhaps open a new business or excel at work. And those skills, when they are dimmed, or it's like if you imagine your DNA as a string of Christmas lights, sometimes some of the bulbs are burnt. So even though you put all 100 Christmas lights on a Christmas tree, you only see maybe 10 bulbs. It's because the rest of that potential is untapped. Those dimmed lights are not on, so the overall output is small. When I work with my clients, what we do is we literally help you realize, we bring the higher consciousness, we bring higher vibration, and we let go of all the negative wounds and past experiences that keep you dimmed so that you can be in full throttle going after your dreams. And that's not to say that, perhaps for your business, you need to learn how to do funnel marketing, just like Carolyn. But you will have capacity. If you need that to realize your dream, you will have capacity to find somebody like Carolyn to do it for you, because your brain is fully thinking, saying, well, you know what? I have a dream. I'm going after this. And what I need is a good funnel system. So while I don't have to know how to do it, I have capacity to seek it out, to put it into my basket of gifts so that I will fulfill the dream.
I love that Christmas lights metaphor. That's so beautiful. I can just picture it in my mind.
Exactly. And imagine what if every single one of us really gave us a permission to put all the lights on. It's like most people live in the houses that are dark. There's just a lamp here, a lamp over there, and we're constantly told that, the rich lifestyle is just for the rich, or to be smart, that's only for the engineers, people who have PhD. So we unconsciously subscribe to this notion that somehow people outside of us are better than us, that
Mm,
somehow they have something that will position them to excel that we don't inherently have. But again, think about the junk DNA. Scientists, when they were mapping the human genome, they only mapped maybe 20% of it. And they couldn't figure out what's the other 80% is for, because they were looking at the chromosomes and they said, well, these chromosomes are controlling the reactions. We can, tie them so we see if this gene expresses itself, you've got this disease. But then we have, 80% of these genes, they don't do anything. What these genes actually, or that part of the DNA, is multidimensional. This is where our psychic abilities reside. This is where memory of past incarnations, for those of you who believe that you've lived more than once, this is where that information resides. So when we start activating our own potential, suddenly we have spontaneous abilities. For example, my mom, when she started awakening to memory of who she is, uh, picked up a brush at 55 years old, went to a class of arts, and when the lady asked her to paint, she delivered the entire painting. So the teacher came to her and said to her, "How long have you been studying painting?" And my mom looked at the clock and said, "The class started at 12. Right now, it's 1 p.m., exactly 60 minutes." Right?
what a great story.
That's a spontaneous skill that rises because you yourself are activating, this entire wisdom talents that you're sitting on. And this is not some metaphysical woo-woo conversation. Think about little cows. When the little cow is born, within minutes, it knows how to walk. How is that possible? Is it possible that that cow is not restricted the same way humans design their human experience? So it's tapping into repository of all memory of all the cows that were born before it. And that wisdom is installed the moment it births itself. It's almost like the cow is birthed with all the Christmas lights on. So it does not have to learn how to walk. It simply immediately knows. How can it possibly know? It's never been alive.
Oops.
So when we realize that humans have the same potential, then we can do something about it. And we can tap into it the same way the animal kingdom shows us is possible. That's what unlocking your potential is. And Carolyn, I know we experiencing technical difficulties, but you're back, so we are all we
With
are
my bad webcam, my cat just walked by and knocked the webcam, which he's already chewed on, and my husband
oh,
fixed today.
well, what you're doing is you're showing us putting the Christmas lights on and off, so it's good. It's good.
Exactly it. Oh my goodness. Well, earlier you mentioned a magic key, turning the key. And I assume that's something that you work with your clients to do.
Yes. So what is the magic key? If you think about it, everything in the universe is vibration. The higher vibration we hold, the easier life becomes. That's where manifestation abilities reside. But let me bring it down home, down to earth a little bit. What does this mean? Um, when we are born as children, we have incredible imagination and no fear. In fact, if not for parents, most children probably would have killed themselves within years because they will jump into the water, they'll put their hands in fire. But what that showcases to us is that as we grow, we are actually programmed for fear. Oh, I'll better not do that because it will hurt.
Mhm.
Oh, I better not go to the college because what if my application gets denied and then I'll feel bad about myself? Or instead of, I'm dreaming about going to Yale, but I don't think I'm smart enough. So I'll just go to a community college. So not only this constant searching for potential danger and mitigating it, puts us in a state of limitation because a lot of times we should jump. We need to take that leap of faith when we create big dreams, especially when it's a dream that's outside of your current reality. So if you're always living in a small apartment and you're dreaming of the big house, that is something that you're not used to. You're not sitting in a house, so you will have to bring that home. And the reason we give up on dreams is because of these past experiences in our lives, those unhealed wounds that put us in a state of defensive protection, where we believe that by keeping small and sometimes even being mediocre is safer than going and creating the lifestyle that we actually desire. How many people do you know, Caroline, that said, oh, you know what, I have a big goal to reach, let's say, $300,000 this year, but I don't want to tell anyone because I don't want to jinx it, right?
Yes.
Well, actually, what they're doing is they're saying, I'm afraid because, if I tell somebody, they think about the shame when I don't get there. So they immediately start pulling themselves back to the current income because then it's safe. Then nobody's gonna, look at you weird that you're making the same money. God forbid you say you have bigger dream, right? What if you are not a very well-known motivational speaker and you say to somebody, my dream is to speak to an audience of 10,000 people or maybe the full stadium, and everyone will laugh at me, so I better not tell them that dream. But
Mhm.
in that moment, what actually happens is that this fear of failure and unworthiness and any other limitation that is always human based through the experience of our lifetime puts us and stop us in the track, puts us exactly where we are now. And we're moving forward. We're not moving forward.
Is there one tip that you can give us right now to kind of help us break through to the next level?
So again, to raise your vibration, to have higher consciousness, higher in a state of magnetism. Think from again, going back to science and physics. The stronger the magnet, the more it pulls the other side to it. Would you agree? So we as humans are magnets, and the strength of our potential determines how fast we create the results that we want.
Mm.
So when we purge the memories of the experiences that were negative, when we allow ourselves to let the past be in the past, to forgive, you don't have to forget, but to simply let it go. One of the most powerful phrases I use with my clients is, if I hurt anyone in the past, whether knowingly or unknowingly, consciously or unconsciously, I ask for forgiveness and I let it go now. And what that says is that I am literally removing myself from that negative energy because I did something. Sometimes I did it on purpose. I was a kid. I was in a sandbox. I didn't like, another kid that came in, and I threw some sand in that other kid. That was unconscious, but we still hurt somebody. When we start purging that negative energy, which I call an energetic imprint, it lets us rise. The other side of this equation is if I hurt somebody, knowingly or unknowingly, consciously or unconsciously, then I ask for forgiveness and I let it go now. So, this is a beautiful exercise that clears your karma, clears these negative energies that are seated within you for decades, that, like pebbles, start filling in. And before you know it, you're just a beach full of these negative experiences with so much heaviness and such heavy sand, there is no possibility for you to fly.
Mm, you have amazing metaphors. I absolutely love it. So, before we talk about your new program that's coming up, could I ask, how did you get started doing all of these things?
It's an interesting journey because since the day I was born, I had ability to see the future. My favorite story is when at 5 years old, I told my father that I will never smoke. And I never forget the moment because he laughed at me and said, What do you know?" Well, I knew. And a lot of times growing up, I had these intuitive and empathic abilities that later I realized my entire family possessed on both my mother and father's side. So they were never paid attention to. They were not really discussed. It was just like, oh, okay. So I kind of lived with my abilities, assuming that that's how you live. And of course, in a communist system, you're supposed to be an atheist. So we didn't talk much about it, but we have herbalists in our genetic line. My mom is a very powerful energy healer. So my great grandma on my sides, all my aunts on my father's side, so we just thought that's what the way you live. You're just naturally tapped into higher consciousness and it guides you. But then in around 2000, I think 6 or 7, my soul started claiming me into my purpose.
Mm,
So a lot of people call it the dark night of the soul, but it's really not dark. What's happening is that the future self is pulling you forward. Your higher self or your soul is realizing that you have all these past wounds and past experiences that in your mind limited your expression. So the soul comes in and reorganizes the house. Essentially, it brings the vacuum and starts bringing all that dirt to the surface. And it's doing it fast because as humans, we refuse to learn the lessons. Per
I don't know
karma,
what you're talking about.
yes, of course. So, per karma, we are supposed to learn each lesson only once. And once we do, it never comes back. But we're humans and we do the human thing. We are stubborn. We just keep doing the same thing over and over again. So, at certain point, the soul comes in and says, you've got a bigger purpose to fulfill and you're refusing to clear all these patterns, emotional and mental. So I'm going to help you clear that. And of course, I'm saying if I help you, is essentially you're pulled forward and suddenly all those decades of resisting improvement, of resisting change, of letting go, like when you date the same people over and over again, you have the same coworkers that bring you down and you never stop and pause to say, well, why are they always attacking me? What is it in me that causes others to bring me down or to mistreat me? Until since you've refused for years to address those issues, the soul comes in and says, you know what, then we're going to graduate you from high school. And instead of 4 years, you're going to do it in 4 months. So, yes, it's unpleasant. And most people call it the dark night because suddenly every you know what hit the
It's
fan.
hard. Yeah.
Yes, and you're purging at astonishing multisonic speeds. But the beauty of that is that what happened to me is essentially all that energy ran through me, and not only I purged, but I received divine inspiration. Some people call it a download on why we struggle and why is it so hard to release what's holding us back, embrace the new, and step into the realm of possibility. So
Mm.
at that point, I was fully awakened, fully aware of my capacities. And I actually quit my international business consulting and started working with people directly. So it was a very effective soul pulling.
Woo, goodness. That is really cool. As you speak, I think about my own experiences. I had some some karmic blockages getting in my way, and my parents took me to a guru in South India, and his blessing just like whoosh cleared some stuff out of the way. So I know how powerful that can be. That was how I met my husband, who, like you were saying, with dating the wrong kind of people, just fix that immediately. And it was how I got pregnant with my children, because we were struggling with infertility, and I went back to India and cleared that out. And I had this experience too with the perception being reality. I'm sure you've heard about this experiment before. When I was in college, we watched this video and I followed the instructions. The kids around me did not, because they wanted to look all cool. Like, we didn't fall for that. I totally fell for it because I followed the instructions. And it was a video of two teams of people passing a basketball back and forth. And one team was wearing white and one team was wearing black. And the teacher said, count how many times the white team passes the ball back and forth. And I'm going to ask you after the video. So I was diligently watching and counting the passes. The video ends. He said, did you notice anything unusual? I said, no. He plays it again and says, this time, don't be watching for anything in particular. Just watch the video. In the middle of it, this man in a black gorilla suit walks up to the front of the camera, waves, like covers it all over, and walks away. And I did not see it at all, because I had told my brain, we're only looking to see what's happening with the people wearing white, and we're going to just dismiss everything else. So that was 20 years ago, and I'm just like still amazed about that experiment.
Well, it's actually pretty typical if you think about it. When you're buying a red car, the only cars you see are the red ones, right?
Yep.
But that's because, what people don't realize, the brain science is amazing. Your eyes actually register every single detail, but then the optic nerve sends the information to the brain for interpretation, and the brain actually uh, uh, discards the information that is irrelevant based on your expectation. So if again you were focused on white players, you did see the gorilla, but the brain is trying to focus you. It's part of the survival mechanism, because if you get distracted by billions of bits of information, you'll never progress. You'll be registering and processing all the minutia, right? So if you're driving a car, your eyes actually know every house, every detail, every tree, where the tree is, whether there was a cat in front of it. But what you need to focus on is the road. So even though the eyes as camera will register all the information, the brain will only give you selective portion of it. This is
Mm.
why if there is an accident, you put somebody, excuse me, in a hypnosis, they will recount the details they were not even aware of. But what that means, unfortunately, to us as humans, is that we don't even, until we realize what our filter is, we don't control the information that's coming in, because the
Mm.
brain takes your expectation. What is it that you want to accomplish? And that expectation is usually based on your limitations. So, like, let's say people who struggle with money, they're so focused on lack of money, they don't see when the money comes in. They walk into the store and they buy the groceries and the coupon just popped out. And instead of seeing that as evidence that the universe is abundant and that the abundance is coming to them, they will take it for granted and focus on, well, the grocery bill is $80. That's $20 more than yesterday. I don't have money. I don't have money coming in. Now I have to pay more for my groceries. So the brain processes the information at the register, focusing on an $80 bill instead of on the universe is giving me gift. Because if you focus on something, some benevolent force is arranging for me to step into abundance, is throwing gifts my way. If you focus on that, if you latch onto that perspective, now the brain was put to work for you instead of against you. Now you will seek the confirmation that the prosperity is coming towards you. And when, let's say, that person shows up for an interview, they're showing up on expectation of things coming to them instead of things being taken away. That's how you get a job. You were expecting, you were open to receive, but you also had an expectation that this benevolent force is supporting you instead of punishing you or taking things away from you.
Hmm. Yeah. So you have a workshop coming up. You did a free workshop last week, and now we have a more intensive paid workshop. Is it Thursday? I've forgotten already.
Yes, it's this Thursday. It's called Triple Your Money Mindset Workshop. And guess what? What we've just talked about, opening yourself to prosperity, this is exactly what we will tackle. Most people actually block their own income generating ability.
Hmm.
No one in the universe is trying to keep you down and keep you away from money. The only person that's doing that to you is unfortunately you. And we do this at a very unconscious level. So don't punish yourself. No one is going to beat you up or put you in a corner to sulk. But the change happens with awareness. And when we become aware of unconscious way in which we are saying to the universe, don't give me money, then we can do something about it. So part of the workshop is first helping you understand the root cause of your money struggles. And science actually the brain science proves that almost everyone will be affected by a certain number of financial ceiling in their lives at any point in their lives, because it's a comfort level with money. Once we come too close to that comfort level, all the unworthiness starts coming to the surface. So you have to understand first why you're keeping yourself at a certain income level, why you're not progressing beyond that. And then what happened usually before the age of 7 that created your perception of self value and worthiness that now is controlling how you show up in the world. We will also look at limiting beliefs around money. Most people are completely unconscious that these silly proverbs around money, like money doesn't grow on trees, or money is the root of all evil, we laugh at them, we don't pay attention to them, but guess what? It's running in your brain, it's your operating system. And until you pause and look at around 100 of these that I've compiled over a decade of working with my clients and just listening to what they say around money. Um, so when you start looking through all of these beliefs, now you can rate yourself on a scale from 0 to 10, how much you're controlled by this belief, where it came from, whether this was here from parents, religion, culture, and then reprogram it with positive mindset. But then we also have to look in general at relationship with money, because there is no such thing as actual money block. There's only what I call me block. I'm the one who's blocking it. I need to figure it out why. Once I unblock myself, the money can come just like air.
Mm, beautiful. I love that. So we're going to have the link for where people can sign up for that, because it is coming up fast. So if you're watching this after Thursday, the first week of October 2022, I'm sure there's another thing that you can sign up for. But for everybody live and watching in the next couple of days, I highly recommend signing up for this workshop. I think it's going to be super powerful. So thank you so much for sharing all of this wisdom with us. And it's been great learning.
Well, it's delightful, and we can chat for hours, but we do want to respect everyone's time. And again, thank you for everyone who's hanging on despite me coming late. So my apologies for that. Thank you for everyone's attention.
Wonderful. All right, we will talk soon. Thank you, everyone.
Bye bye.